Let's start right there. Did this group chat break the law?
Almost certainly it did, and it reflects a general sloppiness and negligence in the whole approach of the administration as they've gotten started here. They've been struck down more than 40 different times by federal courts with temporary restraining orders or preliminary injunctions because they've acted in such a cavalier disregard of what the rule of law requires. And this example you're pointing to, Casey, obviously is with respect to operational implementation of some plans. But if you look at what the underlying plan was, it's Congress that declares war on Venezuela or on Yemen. It's not the President of the United States. So it's both this tremendous operational negligence and sloppiness that has been shown, but also the idea that they act in complete defiance of what the Constitution says and what the rule of law stands for.
Well, this is not, of course, the first time that the U.S. has launched strikes along these lines. It certainly is not just Republican administrations that have done that. But Congressman, Hillary Clinton, of course, lost an election in part because of criticism around her handling of classified information. How do you expect Republicans to respond to what we've learned about how it was being handled by the current Secretary of Defense and others?
Well, it'll be child's play to go back and find all of the Republicans who were demanding congressional investigations and that Hillary Clinton apologize and leave the campaign and so on based over her handling of the information, most of which was not classified, I think. This was clearly classified and of an extremely sensitive and significant nature. So I would hope that they would at least acknowledge the emergency that is represented by virtue of these kinds of practices, and they would try to tighten them up. But again, I don't want to overly focus on the operational, because even today, we've got an opinion from Judge Boasberg saying that the administration was acting completely outside of the law when it decided to deport people without giving them due process, individualized hearings in accordance with the Immigration and Naturalization Act.
That was Jamie Raskin speaking out in the aftermath of an explosive new scandal that has enveloped this White House, wherein Trump's top cabinet members, Rubio, Hegseth, Gabbard, Ratcliffe, even J.D. Vance, decided to game out their war plans on a Signal group chat and accidentally invited the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic into the chat. In other words, the only thing dumber than using an unsecured texting app to do war planning is being so reckless that you invite a literal reporter to watch the process play itself out. Now, 2 points that I think are especially important here. The first, Raskin explains that what they did almost certainly broke the law, not just because they were reckless with regard to how they allowed this process to play out, but more broadly because they don't have the authority to do what they did, even if they didn't do it recklessly. And yet, because this administration views itself as a dictatorship, they don't feel it necessary to get the requisite approval from Congress. They don't care that they've usurped the war powers from a co-equal branch of government because they don't care about co-equal branches of government. They care about consolidating power for themselves and nothing more. But as for the second part of what Jamie Raskin says,
it'll be child's play to go back and find all of the Republicans who were demanding congressional investigations and that Hillary Clinton apologize and leave the campaign and so on based over her handling of the information, most of which was not classified.
It would be pretty easy to find all of those old clips. And so, without any further delay, I present to you a whole raft of Republicans who've just implicated themselves in a reckless national security scandal who are already on record speaking out against it because a Democrat was responsible last time. Like, for example, Pete Hegseth.
The people we rely on to do dangerous and difficult things for us rely on one thing from us: that we will not reveal their identity and not be reckless with what the dangerous things they're doing for us. That's the national security implications of a private server that's unsecured. How damaging is it to your ability to recruit or build allies with others when they are worried that our leaders may be exposing them because of their gross negligence or their recklessness in handling information? Hillary Clinton, if there was anyone other than Hillary Clinton, they would be in jail right now.
Correct.
For what has been done. Because the assumption is in the intelligence community, if you are using unclassified means, there is the potential for and likelihood that foreign governments are targeting those accounts and gathering intelligence from them, which means that individual and the others associated with them have been passing around through unsecure networks information, sources, and methods of people on the ground, covers compromised in real time.
Yes.
This is a real deal, full-blown national security scandal.
Or more recently, here are his comments from 2023 when he discussed Joe Biden's handling of classified documents.
Yeah, I mean, he is the president of the United States, which does create complications. But it also increases the urgency. If the top man in the job handled classified documents this flippantly for that long, why was that the case? Was it really that he didn't know? Because when you take something out of a skiff, if you're a senator, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing.
You had to sneak it out.
And you're moving it. You had to sneak it out. Or someone gave it to you with the wrong protocol, which you were complicit in. And then you don't even know how many you have, and you've clearly hidden them from the public. You're the president of the United States.
Here's Marco Rubio.
People are going to be held accountable if they broke the laws of this country. This president obviously is willing to protect his political cronies, but we're going to hold people accountable. Nobody is above the law, not even Hillary Clinton, even though she thinks she is.
Here's John Ratcliffe.
Mishandling classified information is still a violation of the Espionage Act. It started with Hillary Clinton. It has continued without accountability.
Right.
People haven't paid a price for that because there does need to be accountability there.
And here's Tulsi Gabbard, who tweeted, "Any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of the law and will be treated as such." She tweeted that literally a week ago. In fact, the hypocrisy is so obvious that even Hillary Clinton herself weighed in, tweeting, "You have got to be kidding me." As did Fox's Jessica Tarlov, who very clearly recognized the abject hypocrisy of a Republican Party that was ready to decapitate Hillary Clinton for the same thing that they're shrugging off right now.
Donald Trump's ratings on handling the economy, inflation, cost of living are all tanking. And we're seeing this administration's incompetence and recklessness on a scale unimaginable. I'm sure you guys saw this incredible Jeffrey Goldberg piece. Goldberg, who is a journalist at The Atlantic, being invited into a private Signal chat with all of our national security heads. So Rubio, Hegseth, Waltz, Tulsi Gabbard, Scott Bessent's in there, et cetera. And they are planning on just Signal to drop bombs in Yemen. So they're not doing this in a skiff. They're doing it on an app that you and I, we all have on our phones. And it's obviously incredibly reckless, national security risks. I don't want to ever hear butthurt emails again. I don't know what's going to happen to anyone who's involved in something like this. But on top of it, you have the vice president. He's in there as well, contradicting Donald Trump on his policy on Europe. So all of this is going on. We're only a couple months into this administration. And when Carville says, let's see what they do, you get stuff like this.
And look, I would go crazy if my job was to sit here and point out the hypocrisy. They know they're hypocrites. They don't care. And frankly, we gain nothing by yelling about the fact that the asymmetry continues to exist. And so instead, our job should be to show people, left, right, or center, on a daily basis that this Republican Party is not working for you, despite claims that it would. Donald Trump promised that he felt your pain, that he would lower costs on day one, that he would make life easier. Instead, life has gotten exponentially more difficult. Costs are rising, your 401k is plummeting, the market is in correction territory, and Donald Trump's cabinet is actively making you less safe by taking actions like they just did. Trump might pretend that he's surrounded by the best people, and the economy is booming, and he's turning things around, but we know that when the choice is between Donald Trump and our own eyes, we should go with our own eyes 10 times out of 10. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.